Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Tea in Tokyo podcast. My name is Soumya.
And my name is Ellie.
And what did we get up to this week, Ellie?
So this week we were back to work after 3 weeks off and we ran some essential errands.
Yeah, that and a little bit more coming up right now. Last week we talked about how weird it was that it was snowing in the beginning of March. Well, now it's almost the end of March and it's snowing even more today, which is weird because it was so hot yesterday. Yesterday we were complaining about the heat. It was so humid. And then one of our friends said it was going to snow today and I didn't believe her at all. And lo and behold, it is snowing. And for the first time ever, it's actually accumulating on the rooftops.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, I got up first and I went into, I was washing my hands in the bathroom. And we have, a frosted window in there. And the snow, flurries were so big that I saw it through the, blurred window.
Yeah, it actually kind of looks cool through that blurred window, eh?
Yeah. And then I opened the window and, lo and behold, it was, super heavy snow.
I've already used the word lo and behold. You can't use it twice. You can't just steal my thing again, honestly.
It sounded better when I said it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Lots of snow.
Yeah, man, it's so cold I can see icicles forming outside.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool that it's actually settling. Our balcony has it kind of settled.
Yeah. It's literally spring right now, so it's... it is spring. It's so weird that it's snowing this much in spring,
Yeah, and I feel like it's just especially, like you said, in contrast to how hot it was yesterday.
Yeah.
We did a wee mini grocery shop yesterday and went to the mall and stuff. And we were both just having to take our coats off and overheating so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, this weather's really, really weird. Mm. And our windows are so freaking tiny that you really feel the cold just coming through.
Our windows are tiny.
Well, the glass is tiny.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Alright, well, this week it's our first week back to work.
Yes.
Since our break. There was almost no point in me being at work because it was so slow this week.
Yeah.
I think there were definitely some students who didn't realize we were back, and then other students who were wary of coronavirus. They didn't want to come. So what ended up happening is I probably averaged 2 classes a day. So I'd be there... I didn't even bother staying there for 9 hours because my classes just weren't booked. So a lot of them I had to cancel. I had to close my open slots.
Even for me, I was there for the whole time, but it's only because on pretty much every day, my first class of the day would book, and then I'd have a 4-hour gap where none of my classes booked up. Or they had been booked, and then the students cancelled right beforehand, a couple of days before.
Yeah, that's definitely the most annoying part of our work, is when somebody books a later class and then you don't have any in the middle. I had someone book my very last class with one at the beginning. So then you just have to sit at work for 6 hours. I mean, I could go home, but then there's almost no point taking 40 minutes to get home, spending a little bit of time here, and then going back to work for another 40 minutes on the train.
Yeah, it's because it takes that long for Soumya to get back home from his work. I could probably justify it because my work's a lot closer. It takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But even then, it still feels kind of I don't know, I feel once you start the work day, you kind of have to stay the whole time. I want to be working hard. I don't want to just be, pissing around. Yeah,
true. And also, a change at our work this week is that we had to wear masks.
Yeah.
Face masks. But obviously there's no face masks on sale in the stores because they're all completely sold out. So our work actually made face masks for us.
Which was very kind, and the people who made them worked very hard on it.
Yeah.
But they kind of sucked.
Well, I mean, they weren't actually bad. The fabric was a lot better than I was expecting. The only thing that was terrible about them was the fact that the straps were made out of rubber bands. So within the first 10 minutes of me and one of my colleagues having them, they snapped. And they actually... one time it even snapped while I was talking to a student.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty awkward when it just snaps right in front of them and then you have to take it off. And then you kind of continue with the lesson and I'm trying to repair it Meanwhile, the whole point of wearing a mask just goes out the window at that point, because
Yeah.
now I'm just talking to him without a mask while I'm
But,
trying to repair it.
Let's be real. The real reason they have us wearing masks is just for the appearance of it, so that it's like, oh look how careful we're being and how hard we're trying to keep everyone safe.
Yeah. We were saying it's probably something that was devised by their lawyers, who said, well, if you wear a mask and if you have to email us to tell us how you're feeling every single day, then it's not our fault if you get sick.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is every morning we have to email our manager to say whether or not we have a temperature. But I was really confused and I asked my manager about it. I was like, but we don't have thermometers and there's none anywhere in stock. And so we just have to email saying if we feel okay.
Yeah, I think this is the difference between head management and sort of what's possible on the ground, and them making ridiculous rules that are never going to be followed.
Because unless you already had a thermometer, you can't.
Yeah, at the beginning of the week, the first thing that we had to do was sign a brand new contract.
Well, not a contract, a letter of acknowledgement or something, right?
Yeah, saying that we had to wear masks and that we have to check our temperature every day. But then that's the issue. It's nobody has a thermometer, and it's ridiculous to check your temperature every day like that. And our manager said, well, actually, that's what it says in this letter, but we don't actually expect you to check your temperature. Just let us know if you're feeling good or not every single day before you come to work.
And it is a good thing. It is saying we don't want sick people coming here, but most of the cases are people who are asymptomatic and may not even have a fever. So it's one of those things where that's not even going to catch everyone who's got coronavirus.
Yeah, there's a rule that they made, which is a very general sick rule. It's a rule that would be good if it was just a general sickness, but has nothing to do specifically with coronavirus, where we know how asymptomatic it is. So one of the counselors that work in my building,
So a counsellor is the Japanese staff member who is the point of contact for our students with us.
Yeah. She was super nice, because I was talking about how the rubber band straps on the face masks that they got us to wear, those were killing me. They were cutting right through my ears. I wouldn't have been surprised at all if it cut me during a lesson.
Yeah.
I was constantly touching it, constantly trying to move it around and stuff, hence why it broke when I was with a student. And because it was so tight that it was giving me the worst headache ever.
I reckon that for listeners who haven't seen Somya, he's a tall person, which means he's proportionately sized. So his head is probably bigger than the average Japanese person. So it meant that while the mask might have worked on someone with a tiny little face, on Somya the rubber bands were just not big enough.
Yeah, but I don't think it has to do with that though.
I think it does, because
No.
it wasn't hurting me that much when I wore the rubber band.
Oh really? Maybe though.
I mean, I just thought it was.
But
gross.
when they were making the rubber band face masks, it's not like they were wearing them for 8 hours to test it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so she heard me complaining about it. So after my day of teaching, she actually came to me and offered me some of her stash of face masks, which was super nice because they're sold out and stuff.
And we only had 4 actual ones between the two of us that we'd bought ages ago.
Yeah.
So,
and man, proper ones are so much better.
Yeah.
They feel so good.
They have a little metal, I don't know what the word is, a little metal band that covers your nose, and we didn't realise at first, but you use that to shape it so it actually shapes to your face, so it doesn't just sit on it looking weird.
Yeah, your one has that. My one doesn't shape
But your one is kind of more like a triangle shape anyways, right?
Yeah. I saw a video on the World Health Organization on how to wear face masks properly, and they were talking about that nose thing.
Yeah, because you mould it to fit your nose so that the face mask sits on your face properly.
Yeah. So my work has been just so quiet this week, and for pretty much everyone as well. There's only 2 or 3 people at my work who are having normal weeks. Everyone else, they're just there for 1 or 2 lessons, which is pretty bad because, well, obviously we only get paid for the lessons that we do.
Yeah. And I mean, even for my work, which is normally a bit busier than Somya's, it was dead. And half the reason that my bookings looked like I had a higher percentage than you was because my Saturday was fully booked.
Your Saturday. Oh, yeah.
So I had that fully booked, which kind of brought up my total, percentage for that week.
Yeah.
But then the Tokyo governor recently sort of threatened Japan or threatened Tokyo with a lockdown because no one's staying at home. And so by way of sort of acting as though it's been taken seriously, our work closed for the weekend. So I lost that weekend percentage booking anyways.
Yeah, but we still get paid for it, though.
Yeah, so the good thing is they took a screenshot before they announced they were closing for the weekend of everyone's bookings. And then, because obviously as soon as they announced they were closing, students started cancelling those bookings.
Yeah.
So they took a screenshot before they announced it, so we get paid for the ones that were booked before the announcement was made, which is a relief because, like, an hour after it was announced, all of my bookings were gone. Like, they'd all been cancelled, obviously, because the students can't use them.
Yeah, so the governor recommended that people stay home over the weekend. They're not forcing you to, though. So technically could be open, but they are fucked now. But yeah, they decided against it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
and also part of the contract that they had us to sign was the fact that, and it said that we're only going to get paid for lessons that were already booked.
Yeah, so you guys might remember we mentioned the last few times when we were closed for 3 weeks. It worked out really well for us. We were getting paid for the equivalent of full-time. So with this new one, the main issue with that is we tend to get most of our bookings like either the week before and a lot of the time the night before. So for example, if Japan goes into lockdown for like 4 weeks, like right now I think I only have 50 classes booked for next month. But I know that by the end of the month it'll probably be more like 150 because that's how it works. Like they get booked up shortly beforehand. So if it goes into lockdown, it'll be based on what was initially booked then. So, which is reasonable. Like, they can't be expected to pay us a full-time wage forever. Like, it was pretty cool that they did in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like, it sucks for us if that happens.
Yeah, this is pretty unprecedented, though. So, depending on how long, like, if things do get locked down long-term, I feel like they're going to have to pay people a certain percentage of their wage, whether or not they get bookings. Because you're not going to get booked 4 weeks in advance.
But now we've signed that thing, so...
I know, but if they're going to be smart about it, they know that people are here from overseas and this is their only source of income. So.
I mean, one of the craziest things was that when we started back up at work, in my work we had 3 new staff members who came from overseas to work here and they would be getting no booking. So I feel really bad for them. I think they maybe should have held off.
Yeah, well, this is really the worst time to come in.
Because I feel really bad for these people because it's so expensive to move to Japan. We'll do a podcast one day on like all the costs and how they accumulate. But as an idea of it, we saved 20,000 New Zealand dollars to move here, and it was all used up in the move.
Yeah.
So like you spend that much money to move here, you have like none left for rent, and then these people have started right when there's like literally no work.
Yeah, I wonder if they were told that their bookings may suffer because of this.
I don't know, they did their training while the rest of the company was closed.
Yeah.
So surely they...
Although I guess when they were doing their training and when they actually came here, because Japan's not taking coronavirus that seriously, they were probably just thinking, it's just going to be normal. Like, we're closed for 3 weeks, sure, but then we're going to open up again and then it's going to be fine. Because it's not until the Olympics were cancelled that Japan started taking it seriously again, and then all of a sudden the cases went up.
Yeah.
And... the only reason that the governor recommended that everything stay closed for the weekend is because the Olympics are no longer a thing. Yeah, but the staying home and the weekend thing is a bit silly, just because... So, their rationale for doing this is that they want to slow down coronavirus, but then on Monday, they're saying everything goes back to normal and people can go to work.
2 days is going to make no difference.
Yeah, 2 days when nothing's enforced. The only thing that's keeping people at home right now is the fact that it's snowing.
Yeah, so at least on the Sunday, people are going to stay at home.
Yeah, it's like God decided, screw you guys. I'll make you stay at home.
Yeah, well, we needed it, because even we went out yesterday.
So yesterday we, actually not yesterday, but the day before, so on Friday we had to finish off a little bit more shopping for a potential lockdown. But then also Ellie needed to go to the doctors real quick. So we ended up going to the doctors for the first time in Japan.
Sorry if this is TMI for anyone. I needed to get my pill, like my contraceptive pill. But the one I normally use is not available in Japan. They're not very big on the contraceptive pill in Japan. They're bigger on like abortion and condoms. So it's kind of more difficult to get the pill. One of my friends recommended, it's called like, it's like Shinjuku Ladies Clinic, or like K Clinic. So they don't have appointments. You walk in between like, it's like 11 till 12:30. We missed to get there. We took 2 trains. We got super lost looking for the building. And we went up, and it was pretty like, it was kind of like worrying how easy it was. Like my mum said it sounds like medical malpractice.
Yeah.
Like,
it really does.
It was like a gynecology office, so Soumya had to leave when he
Yeah,
came in.
they told me to leave.
Yeah, they said men have to wait outside, which is kind of nice. Like, I think, women need a safe space when they're going to get the gynecology office. So I gave them my details. It asked what medication I was on, why I was there, and if I've had surgery. So I put the pill that I was currently on. I put getting a repeat pill, and no.
Yeah.
And then I waited, I got called in, and I like went into the doctor's little like office, and he already like had the pill he wanted to give me. I kind of suspect it might have been the most expensive one because they didn't take my height, weight, or blood pressure.
And normally they do, right?
So the pill that I've been on previously is called Jeanette, and every time I go to the doctors, they are like, "Are you sure you want to be on this one?" And like for my own medical reasons, like I've tried other ones, they didn't work, so I always say yes. Because that one, like, increases your chance of blood clots. It increases your chance of, like, your blood pressure increasing. Like, all these other things. So they normally check up on all that stuff to make sure you can still actually be on the pill. But this guy was just like, okay, so we don't have the one you want, but here's one that's really similar. How much do you want of it? And I was like,
Well, maybe they only check your blood pressure stuff because your one was so dangerous then. Maybe the normal pill people don't do that.
I think they do. But even then, like, shouldn't they check it, seeming as I was on that one until now? For all they know, maybe my blood pressure is
and also because this is your first time.
Yeah, especially because this is my first time on a new pill.
And your first time in that office.
Yeah,
and stuff.
like they didn't ask me about my medical history. They didn't ask me about anything. Like the only medical history they asked about was if I've had surgeries.
Yeah.
Like for all they know, I have really high blood pressure or something. Like,
yeah, or you're taking like other medication or something.
Yeah, so he asked how much I want, and I said like normally I would get 6 months at a time, but because it's a new pill, I didn't want to go straight into that much in case I have a bad reaction. So he gave me 3 months. It was way more expensive than New Zealand. Like, that was literally, he had the pill already there. I didn't have to go to the pharmacy. He just like handed me.
Oh yeah, true. You didn't know.
3 tablets of it with like a mini information sheet, which I found kind of funny because normally the information sheet I got in New Zealand is like a list of every possible terrible side effect.
Yeah.
But this one was like a list of all the benefits of taking the pill. It was like, it's good for your skin. It helps you control your period. And then at the very bottom, it had like one bullet point that was like, may cause nausea, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so normally it's like written by the scientist, but this time it's written by like the marketing team.
Yeah, exactly. So I picked it up and it costed 10,000 something yen, which is way more than in New Zealand. In New Zealand...
Yeah, that's the equivalent of like 130 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, and in New Zealand you'd pay $50 for the doctor's appointment, and then it's $5 for 3 months of the pill.
Yeah.
So it was like over double the price. But I knew that going in. I knew it wasn't fully funded. But yeah, so true. It was a pretty like... Everyone said it was going to be so hard to get the pill in Japan, but it was like
yeah, that was super
crazy
easy.
easy.
What are people talking about?
Yeah, especially because we were worried because the time that you can have walk-in appointments is 11 till 12:30, and because we got lost looking for it, we got there like after 12. So I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, is that just for walk-in appointments, or is that... I thought that was what the time that the clinic was open in general.
Yeah, because we couldn't figure out if you can actually book appointments.
Yeah, like an hour and a half open. That's kind of weird.
But if it's a gynecology office, maybe sometimes they have to schedule stuff, so they schedule the stuff.
Yeah,
the other hours. But yeah, so I mean, all of the staff spoke English. Like, I was really worried getting there. I was kind of like preparing how I might ask for it in Japanese.
Yeah.
But even the girls at reception, the woman at reception spoke English, which was nice and helpful.
It was called like Shinjuku Gynecology Clinic.
No, it was Shinjuku Ladies Clinic.
Oh, right.
Or I think you could probably look up Shinjuku Gynecology, or like K's, like the letter K.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend it to anyone else coming to Japan for like an easy option. I just don't know whether or not I should be concerned by how it was too easy.
Yeah, we'll do the follow-up in 2 months.
Yeah, if I die or
whether
something.
You're dead or not. Yeah.
And after that, we had further excitement.
Yeah, we went to IKEA after that.
Woohoo!
Because the last couple of months we've been dying in this bed. with all the slats broken and the tiny ass futon.
Yeah,
like
so-
our backs are literally misshapen now.
Well, the frame
because of this.
I bought it from IKEA, and I didn't realise that when you buy that frame, there's an option for it to come with the slats or without the slats. Like, there's 2 different frames when you look up that name. And I think the first time I looked it up, it had the slats with it, and the second time I didn't realise it was a different one, so I just clicked to buy it, and it came without slats.
Yeah.
So we went onto Amazon and we bought like the cheapest slats we could find. And like, so I think Somi said last week, they like literally the first time he sat on it, one of them broke.
Yeah, they're super cheap.
Like, there's just holes with like slats that are broken all over it, and because the futon is so thin, you literally sink into the holes.
Yeah, although we tested it out, well, not tested, but we had a look at the new slats that we're buying, and they kind of look like they would snap as well, but we're hoping that the fact that we're going to be sleeping on an actual mattress will make it better, because we're not so directly on it.
Yeah, the mattress will distribute the pressure. Like, I think the
Yeah,
problem with having
true.
the futon is it's like you're putting all of your weight directly on the slat, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So, because the frame we bought, unfortunately, you had to get that specific slat from IKEA.
Yeah.
You couldn't get the better quality one. It doesn't work with the frame.
Yeah, so this was our first time ever going to IKEA.
Because we don't have it in New Zealand.
Yeah, we don't have it. So we've heard a lot of stories about it. Ellie has bought stuff from IKEA online before, so
Like,
we're
all
excited.
of our furniture, our dining table, our couch, and our bed are from IKEA.
Yeah, and our friend, like, a couple of weeks ago was talking about, like, the food that she had eaten there, and, like, she hyped it up a lot. So, yeah, well, the first thing we did was go to, like, the little restaurant that they have, IKEA restaurant.
It's like a cafeteria.
I had, like, the IKEA Swedish meatballs, and luckily they had a vegetarian lasagna there.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise that in Japan they have a plant, like the only lasagna option was a plant-based lasagna.
Yeah. And all the people working there were like, well, not all the people, but a lot of people working there were like white people. And they were speaking in Japanese to everybody else. And then as soon as they saw us, they started speaking in English.
Yeah.
So the food, it's like a good price for the food. It wasn't very expensive.
So we got a dessert as well, like a mochi. Sonia got meatballs, I got lasagna. Sonia got a beer, I got a bottle of water, and then we didn't realise that when you get your tray, you've already actually paid for drinks as well. They give you like a cup which costs extra, and I think it was all like 2,300 yen or something.
Yeah, yeah. I thought my meatballs were delicious when I first had them. But then, like, I mean, they were pretty good. They were good. But they felt a lot better than they actually were initially, only because I was so excited that we were eating food in a furniture shop.
And also we were pretty hungry.
Yeah.
Like, we hadn't had lunch and it was getting kind of later in the day.
Like, I was so hyped up to eat that food.
Yeah.
And it was good, but yeah, I mean, it's not like crazy special, that food.
Oh yeah, but it's special for the fact that coming from New Zealand, like, what furniture shop has like a massive cafeteria on the
that's
second
pretty
floor?
ridiculous, yeah. And then we like walked through all of IKEA.
We spent 4 hours.
Yeah, we might as well have been walking through like a ride in Disneyland because it felt like that. You know,
We were so excited.
yeah, every room had like a theme to it, and it was all so different, and there was just crazy things that we'd never seen before, like different kinds of lights and heaps of cool furniture.
Sonia
and
loved the lights for some reason.
yeah, I'm a fan of the lights. Ellie's a fan of the chairs.
No, I really wanted to get a rug, but Sonia put his foot down in a reasonable manner, and that, like, that's kind of like an additional expense that when our jobs are so uncertain, we probably shouldn't be spending like $100 on a rug. So.
Yeah, like, we unfortunately do have to think about the fact that, you know, if there's a lockdown for a while, like a month or 2 months, and we don't get paid properly,
Yeah.
or we don't get paid what we're expecting, then we might not be able to pay rent, and we might not be able to pay our bills. Even if we can pay them, maybe we won't be able to pay them moving forward. So we're going to have to make a choice between paying our bills or buying flights and then going back to New Zealand.
Yeah, so we're making sure that we've put aside, like, so we got paid recently and we immediately put half of mine into savings, so a month's half, and then Somya's goes towards rent, bills, and anything left over is also savings.
Yeah.
So we had to be reasonable in IKEA. To be fair, we did also, like, go a little bit crazy, but in, like, a nice way. Like, we didn't even spend that much. We just bought a lot of, like, little extra stuff that we needed.
Yeah, we ended up buying like 40 candles.
Okay, we didn't. We We bought so many scented candles.
Candles are great. We love candles.
Like, so many.
Individually, they're pretty crap. They smelled so good in the store.
The one
but then,
chose I chose a nice big one that smells pretty good individually. But
yeah,
Sonia,
Ellie went for quality. I went for quantity.
yeah, Sonia
But my
so
one
many.
smelled really good. But then individually, when we're lighting them, you can barely smell them. So what you can do is you just keep them in the pack, and then you put them in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's like having a diffuser in there.
Yeah, and it really is. And then the bathroom just smells so good, and without even lighting them, so you just keep them in the pack.
So we wanted to pick up the slats immediately and bring them with us on the train, but alas, they didn't have the size that we needed in stock. So we need to buy like 2 of the smaller size to fit into either side of our bed, and they only had the slightly larger size.
Yeah, so we ended up buying the bed stuff online, and we hopefully should get them on Tuesday, or by Tuesday.
Yeah, except we also like kind of, well, not fell for it, but it was like 20,000, and then shipping was like an extra 5,000 or something. And so if you spent over 30,000, you got free shipping. So we were like, screw it, we'll just add 10,000 additional stuff. So we ended up getting like a bunch of other stuff as well online. Stuff that we need. Like we bought a laundry basket and like some sheets.
It is stuff that you need, and you know, I mean, we didn't save money, but we got stuff that we needed. And this is our last stand. We are now officially at home full time, except for when we have to go to work. We don't have to leave the house now, and we have everything we need to not leave the house.
Yeah, because we're trying to self-isolate when we can. Like, we had to go out yesterday because we needed to get some groceries and Sonia needed a haircut. But we've stopped sort of, socialising with friends outside of online.
Yeah.
Because, you got to self-isolate when you can. Because, like, I think we're gonna be fine if we get sick. But I'd feel terrible if we passed it on to someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Alright, well, that was pretty much our week then.
Yeah, it was a pretty, what's the word? Like, middling? Like, meandering? No?
Meh.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably
word.
A very meh week. But
No, but it's all about isolation. Because, New Zealand got its first death today.
yeah, I saw, sad.
Yeah.
So hopefully the family's doing okay. But they also had a drop in reported cases today. Like, yesterday it was 80 people and today it was 60. So hopefully that shows that, the quarantine is effective.
Yeah, true. All right, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
Remember to follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Yeah. And, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.